Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. And today I get to interview the homie, Adrian Waldron, who is a young entrepreneur. This homie is 24 years old. Come on, all my young people in the house, throw your hands up. Adrian, welcome to the show.
Man, Johnny, it is a pleasure to be here, brother. I am excited for today. Our conversation a couple weeks ago was a highlight of a week for me.
Yeah, dude, it was so fun, man. I love when I get to meet people with extraordinary stories. You have an extraordinary story. Adrian is an entrepreneur. He also does business operations and automation. You got a couple different, things going on, which we'll dig into a little bit later. But you also, probably bigger than all that stuff, you got a new baby on the way. So tell us about your 24-year-old self and all your babies that you have.
Yeah, man. So... man, my wife and I, we've been married over 5 years now. Love the Lord. I got married at 19. My wife was 20. And, just blessed by the Lord to not only be able to have children, but to have the desire so young. And I'll tell you, it is the most motivating, and at times challenging, but also the most rewarding endeavor that I've started on. So it's amazing. We got 3, 1 on the way. So 2, 3, and 1.5, and then 1 in the baby belly.
Yeah, man.
So it's coming, man.
And y'all got a nice little 2 years apart, little 2-year cadence between,
2-year gap,
which is great. Yeah. Cause they're going to get to grow up together, similar age, which, man, I know from my experience has just been amazing with my 3 kids. We're 2 years apart. And dude, you're blessed to have them, but they're blessed to have you, man. And I think anybody that's watching, you can tell already, this is not your average 24-year-old dude. The focus.
Things a little different.
Yeah, bro. You've done things a little different. So tell us about that. Like, you're running hard and you're going after it, man. And like you have a sense of purpose and you have a sense of drive, that is uncommon for somebody your age. Tell us a little bit about how you came by that.
Yeah. So, I think, we were talking about defining points of my life. I would say the accelerator of that is when I was 19, my mom actually passed away from cancer. And, so losing her, and she was like the glue of the family, kind of made me have to step up and like go to another level that I think just takes more time for most people to kind of hit the inflection point for that. She passed 2 months before I got married. And so,
man,
that was actually, looking back on it now, it's been 5 years. I see God's grace through that entire situation, because every moment of my marriage, every moment with my daughters, has been marked with this sense of, man, life is so precious. And, that kind of motivates you as well. It's like, I don't know if I have, 70 years or whatever the average lifespan is now for most people. I may have 40. Let's not waste any time, and let's get going and pursuing what we feel like God has, put in front of us.
Well, it's a miracle, man. Like what you just described is a miracle, right? Because people can encounter trauma in a lot of different ways. We encounter trauma in a lot, and that's trauma, right? I mean, to lose your mom at a young age. What was it that allowed that to become something that spurred you forward into growth, as opposed to kind of paralyzing you and having a negative effect? I mean, I'm sure there was negative effects. Obviously, that's pain, but
yeah. I mean, it was an 18-month process of me really wrestling with it. I mean, so short context on my childhood. I was raised in the Church of Christ. My mom, was born and raised in the Church of Christ, passed away going to the Church of Christ. And my dad wasn't a believer, so there was like dynamics there. So when my mom passed away, I had to rebuild my faith.
Yeah.
When I was 18, I stopped going to the Church of Christ, but, me and my fiance at the time found a church locally here, but my mom was the foundation of my faith. And when she passed, it's like my childhood faith passed. And I had to face things on my own from a faith perspective, and almost rebuild from the ground up what I perceived God, how did I perceive Jesus? How did that affect me day to day? And so that, I mean, definitely was an 18-month process of just like rebuilding faith, but then also mourning and grieving, which I continue to do now, even today. And I believe that the biggest thing that allowed that to turn overwhelmingly positive in the long run is just community around me, mentorship, having a wife that loves me and was there when my mom passed in that room, when I was singing, playing guitar over her, and just the love that, you know, was clearly afforded to me through that journey of mourning and grieving, kind of allowed me to come out and be like, okay, you know, life is precious, and let's take that and let's channel it into the future. Absolutely
Stunningly beautiful story, man. And it's like jacking me up because I'm thinking of my own kids, right? And how there is this passing of the baton in terms of, like, I can see their faith and they're building their own faith, but I can see a lot of it's dependent upon me, right? Like the dad. And I know the time will come where they're going to have to rebuild their faith as you described it, right? Like, it's got to become your own. And as a parent, you're preparing them for that, but you also can't make it happen. You're helpless to some degree to make it happen. And so there's a scripture that says, when my mother and father forsake me, the Lord will take me up. And I think that can be applied in a lot of different ways, man. You know, like those of us who had parents that just didn't know what they were doing, right? Maybe not intentionally forsaking, but man, they didn't know what they were doing. And it's like, you know, I've had some of that experience where the Lord had to raise me, right? Because my parents didn't know how to do a lot of the things that I needed. So just a lot of comfort in what you said, bro. And just, I'll you know, you're about to make me cry, man. And I don't usually cry on the shows. I don't usually.
Well, it's good, man, because, you know, it's so cool for you to see that now. And that's encouraging to me to be reminded of that because, you know, my oldest is 3 and, you know, the foundations of what she believes about the world and what she believes about God are being planted. Those seeds are being planted now. Yeah. And it is a good reminder for me even to see your response to that and be like, yeah, you know what? There is a day where her faith will be her own. And she's essentially, I mean, it talks about leaving and cleaving when you get married, right? But there's a leaving and cleaving that happens from the parent to the father. Yes. That must happen one day.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. And some of the best you can do is just give her the picture, give your kids, you know, I got daughters and sons, the picture of what is a good father. That's the best thing, right? Like, what are we trying to do? I'm trying to show you the father, right? Like, God's given me an opportunity to show you the father. There's a lot of people that'll tell you about the father. There's only one person in your life that gets to show you the father, really.
That's good.
Or maybe in some cases a mentor, right? In some cases a mentor. And you did mention mentorship as a big part of your accelerator. So can you tell us a little bit about that journey as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, growing up, I've been blessed by God to have multiple mentors, multiple men pull me up under their wing and just pour into me, pour encouragement to me, pour life into me when I was just clueless as to who I was. And, you know, those moments I've carried with me throughout my life. And probably the most impactful mentor that I've encountered so far in my life is a man by the name of Reggie, who is my current mentor now, I would say. He actually owns and operates a couple of businesses that I operate in now. 5 years ago, a couple of weeks before my mom passed away, I started working with Reggie for the very first time. And he and I were going to the same church at the time. And he pulled me under his wing, helped me learn entrepreneurship, let me make a bunch of decisions, let me fail, and learn from my failings. And you know, that type of mentorship has been all throughout my life. And it's cool to be working with Reggie and still have that mentor now.
Yeah, man. So let me ask this crazy question: what does your life look like if you've never met Reggie? Right? Can you imagine?
Yeah. So the trajectory of my life before Reggie was fairly aimless vocationally. Yeah. I did about 1 year of college education through a dual enrollment program we have here in Georgia. And it just wasn't a fit. I just felt it. I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be right now. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I know it's not here. I thought for a while I might go into ministry, do like worship, and that didn't really end up happening. So I actually don't know. And it's a question of, I think I'd still be married.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if I would be as ambitious and as on fire for the Lord. I mean, I've been taught a lot of amazing things spiritually from mentors like Reggie over the last couple of years. And I think it would just be a little bit less driven.
Yeah.
Probably a lot less driven, actually. And more aimlessly just trying to figure something out,
Yeah. Yeah. Because when we talk, and every time, when we talked before, and then even when we were off camera this time, that there's this metaphor that you refer back to a lot, which is running. I'm running hard, right? Like you're running. And sometimes when people say that to me, it gives me warning signs, because there are a lot of people who are driven in, I think, the traditional sense. And it's a drive that ultimately destroys you, right? Because it causes you to be singularly focused on one thing. They talk about, they even say that part of the entrepreneurial mindset is this willingness to just keep going no matter what, right? And so, that's got nothing to do with God, because God doesn't say keep going no matter what. God says go where I want you to go, and I will show you, and sometimes I will stop you, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the fact that that you have this drive, you're on fire for the Lord, you're actually running really hard in business, you're running really hard in marriage. And the fact that you attribute that to mentorship is notable. It's something for people to note here, right? What would you say is the biggest thing that you learned from Reggie, so far? And it doesn't, or something important that you learned from Reggie, maybe is a better way to put it.
Great question. I've learned so much. I think the example that he's played in my life has shown me what you're talking about, which is kind of constrained ambition, constrained drive, that is not individualistic and focused on yourself, but is ultimately at the will of the Father and just kind of open hands of, okay, God, whatever you have for me to do next, I will do with 100% of my being.
Yeah.
And Reggie's got a bunch of kids too, so seeing him balance the fatherhood side of this with entrepreneurship has been really, really cool. But I think the main thing is just like, to a fault, trusting the Lord with every step of the way, whether that's having another child, whether that's making a decision in your business, whether that is hiring someone, right? Like all of these, whether that's pushing pause on a business, which I've had to do before, that weight and taking it to the Lord and saying, God, whatever you decide, I trust you. I know you will provide for me. I know that you will make things all things good for those who love you. And God, I love you. Like that mindset has been just displayed. I mean, it's truly the osmosis of being in the presence of someone that handles life that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand exactly what you're talking about, man, because transformation invites transformation, right? It's not what I say that invites transformation from the people around me. It's the way that I live that invites transformation. So that all just resonates deeply with me. So then what's it like to be Adrian? And what I mean is, on one side, it's like you go really hard. I used to know a guy named Raleigh who he had this theory of life called go hardology, which was basically go hard, whether you're doing something good or doing something bad, go hard. There were some flaws in the philosophy, and
sure.
it led to a lot of problems. But he would describe you as go hard. You're a go hard individual, right? So on one hand, you go hard. On the other hand, this radical faith and open-handedness, right, that you've learned. What does it look like to be in the middle of those two extremes? Just let us into your mind a little bit, in your heart.
I think for me, one of the most game-changing decisions that we have made as a family, and this has gotten like super popular, I guess, in Christian circles today, but it's like truly resting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Sabbath.
Yeah.
A Shabbat, a faithful rest with the Lord. I don't think it's a biblical command. I don't think it's something that we're, absolutely have to do for salvation or whatever. I think it's just a principle that God has built into the 7-day week.
Yeah.
Like you look at where does the 7-day week originate from? It originates in Genesis.
Yeah.
That's the originate. Months,
Yeah.
okay, we're doing moon phases. Years, okay, we're doing where we're positioned around the sun. Okay, with the week, where does that come from? That comes from Genesis.
Yeah.
And so God has designed this 7-day week. And so what that allows, when me and my wife first decided to really kind of take that seriously, and that means I'm turning off my laptop, I'm turning off my notifications on my phone, I'm not getting emails, I'm not getting Slack messages, across all these businesses, I'm not doing anything. I am resting. I'm being present with the family. We're doing things that bring us energy and bring us life. That balance has allowed me to go even harder on the other 6 days of the week.
Yeah.
And without that, that's where you get the burnout. That's where you get the devastating consequences of someone who's really trying to achieve a goal with no regards to the expense and the cost of actually reaching that.
Yeah.
So that for me has been huge in balancing rest. Don't over rest by no means. Don't ask my wife. You work all the time, but I love work too. There's a love there for the work.
Yeah.
But the rest is so important to pair with that. Rooted in Jesus, rooted in the Father, because He is ultimately our source of peace. He is ultimately our source of rest. And without that, you're still going to get burnt out. And, you can run into those issues we talked about a minute ago.
Bro, I'm asking questions and you're just giving me gold bricks, dude. Just throwing gold bricks at my forehead, dude. I love it. I love it. Because, right, like how do you balance? It's so interesting that that's the answer to your question. Because when I ask that question, I have no idea how you're going to answer it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. And for me to say, all right, how do you balance drive, like this insane drive that God has gifted you with open-handedness and faith, and then you tell me Sabbath. That's the answer, right?
It's counterintuitive, right?
It's counterintuitive, but it's like the discipline of rest, right? There's a discipline to doing. There's a discipline to doing. Some of us need more discipline in doing than others because some of us have more drive than others, but there's a discipline to doing. What most of us don't know is that there's a discipline to rest.
Yes.
That is just as important as the discipline of doing.
Yes.
And so now, okay, I look at this Adrian, 24 years old, how are you able to then live this life where you're not destroying your family, right? You're married young. You're a good father, you're a good husband, good father. Also, you work really hard. You go extremely hard. You're doing a lot. You're entrepreneurial. You've got multiple businesses you're involved with. You're getting mentored. All these things are happening. How are you doing that well? And then you tell me the discipline of rest that God has given me, right? Like you're telling me Jesus, of course, right? Because who taught you the discipline of rest? It's the Lord Jesus taught you that discipline. But man, I think that's just so instructive for many of us listening who have so much going on in our lives. And it feels like too much. And it feels like it could come off the rails at any moment. And we're just and because our culture does this, right? Like we live in a culture that says we should be going and doing. Our culture isn't telling us stop. For a lot of us, the culture is telling us go. And that the answer is cultivating a discipline of rest and connection. And in that discipline of rest, also connection with the vine, right? Abiding in the vine. So,
and the perspective of rest has to be, it's got to be right. So just to give some more context here, when my wife and I first started doing our Sabbath days, we did nothing. We just sat around and watched TV all day, and we felt absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
We just wasted away this day.
Yeah.
Rest is not wasting the day.
Right.
We've got a mutual friend, Jordan Rayner. He wrote a book called Redeeming Your Time. He talks about this a little bit. It's like rest for me. I use my mind all day. I'm a knowledge worker by Cal Newport's definition, right?
Yeah.
I don't rest by reading stuff on the internet and like researching. Like, no, like I do that all week long trying to solve problems. I rest by going outside and playing wiffle ball or cleaning up the shed or doing lawn care. Like that's restful for me. And that could be work for someone else. And so it's having this perspective of, okay, I'm not going to waste this day, but I'm going to find the things that God has wired within me that bring me rest in glory to him. And then I'm going to work out of that rest going into the week. Because sometimes we can get in the mindset of, all right, I'm working all the time. I just can't wait for the weekend. I just can't wait for Saturday. I just can't wait. And then you like crash into it and you're like, oh, okay, this relief. And it kind of sets you up for this mindset of, well, now work is like this bad thing. But work is not this bad thing because work existed pre-fall. It existed pre-sin. God has called us to work. And so when we rest, it's this place of, God, thank you for calling me to rest. Thank you for restoring me. I am so excited for what this week is about to look like. Lord, thank you for this time. And you approach it that way. And for me and for my family, it works really, really well. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful. And that's, how you have learned by the grace of God to harness the drive. I like that word harness too, because I do see some focus and some harnessing of it. My next question for you is your calling. So as far as you can tell, and I think we can tell something about your, what I call superpowers. We could call them spiritual gifts, but you definitely are strong in the achiever, right? Like you're able to finish things. You're able to push things. I had a friend who was an achiever. He called himself the engine, right? Like if he's getting involved, he's going to propel whatever the thing is forward, no matter what it is. It sounds like you've got a huge dose of the achiever there. So it's superpower. I think we get that. But let's talk about calling as far as you can tell.
I'm fairly early on. I love to hear from guys that have lived my life 2 or 3 times over. So like finding wisdom from older men is helpful. I think for what I can see right now, God has uniquely positioned me. Again, 24, we got 2 kids, we got a third on the way, been married for 5 years, got my hands in a bunch of different businesses, have mentors around me. I see this Joseph in Potiphar's house analogy for my life.
Yeah.
Of, I wasn't sold into slavery, but I'm getting moved through opportunities and given open doors to continue to learn and develop and grow and be mentored. And I don't think that is for me. Like I do believe that there is going to be an inflection point in my life, and even along the way, younger men, specifically younger men, for me to turn around and pour into, because I think in this generation, particularly my generation and the ones that have followed after ours, is this lack of motivation, this lack of drive, this like quiet quitting mindset of just like, we're just going to do the bare minimum and get through and make a paycheck. And there's so much more to actually putting yourself into something 100% and using all that God has gifted you with to accomplish the things that he has called you to do. And I think that type of, again, it's like mentorship has blessed me so much. I pray to God that I get to mentor younger fellas in their fatherhood journey, in their business journey, in their even spiritual journey, as I learn more about the Father. I feel like that's a huge calling of what God has put in front of me. It just kind of makes sense, It
does. Yeah, it makes so much sense, man, that, I say this all the time. We give the gift that we were given. All right. Like, because that's the gift that you can give from your guts. Right. And so what you've been entrusted with is just rich community and mentorship, man, like rich mentorship. And so, I deal with a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people, a lot of different ages, a lot of different stages of life. That's my thing, is talking to people, strangers, friends. I'm always talking to people. And so I notice people in a way that most people don't notice, because I have such a large sample of people that I'm encountering, like on a daily basis. And I can tell you from the outside looking in that, that mentorship calling, I can just see how it's all over you, right? And how God is lifting you up. God is investing this in you. God did give you this gift to ultimately give to other people, because the world needs more mentors, right? Like the world needs more mentors, like young men specifically. And you know, I'm talking specifically to young men or about young men, because that's most likely who you will be addressing at some point. And I know what it's like to be a young man. I know what it's like to not have mentorship and to not have anybody helping you figure out how to harness whatever it is that you are, or even know what you are. And so I can speak to the cry of the need for it. And so it's crazy to me to see somebody 24 years old already thinking about mentoring other people. It's crazy to me, dude. And it also just makes me so happy. It makes me want to just follow your journey, bro. Like just follow your journey and see all the cool places the Lord's going to take you, man. And certainly the Joseph in Potiphar's house seems apt to me, right? Like the Lord has blessed you and gifted you with these things, and you're going to steward them well. Can you tell me any more about the dream? So I feel like I understand that there is a mentorship dream that is working in you. Can you give me anything else that's like more immediate or more tangible? And part of the reason for that is I'm always asking about the dream. What are the doors you're heading towards? What are the mountaintops that you're heading towards as far as you can tell? Because these episodes are a tool to let people know what the doors are that they could open for you, and for you to be aware of the doors that you could open for other people. That's really the whole culture I'm building here with Kingdom Superpowers and the other podcasts that I'm doing. So can you tell us anything about more midterm goals or doors?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so for me personally, I just want to do excellent work and display that, be an example of that. Dreams for me would be, we want to have a lot of kids. We got 3 already. Yeah. Let's get 2 more. Let's go. Let's go for 5. Make the family a set of 7. That feels like, completed.
Built-in mentorship right there. Built-in mentorship.
Exactly, right? It's discipleship right there in the home. Yeah. So that, like on the family side for sure. And we really see family as a multi-generational project. It's not us pouring into our kids so that they can go and like spring off and, do all their things, which they're going to spring off and do all kinds of amazing things, and I'm excited to see it. But how can God use the Waldron family to impact change and be a lever for his kingdom is big dream for us. We have no idea what that looks like. We're so young and so early on. And then from a business perspective, I really just love to serve business and businesses in general. So if I can just continue to do that, whether it's, growing my own business and, bringing people in there to mentor and disciple and then serve other businesses through that, or whether that's continuing to serve the businesses that I'm serving now and growing those and allowing them to, reach better impact in the world. I think if I could do that all the days of my life, like I'll be super fulfilled,
Yeah. Is there a particular way that you like to serve businesses? And I say that because I'm like, all right, let's, who would you love to just come across your doorstep, right? Like, Adrian, saw the podcast, man. Can you help me with this problem?
Yeah.
Give me some flavor on that.
Sure. So I'm a tech guy. I love tech, AI. I just saw you had Chad Wooters on. Love Chad. He's a buddy of mine.
Chad's the guy. He's the guy.
And technology is such a integral part of our lives today.
Yeah.
And I find over and over again, no matter the size of business and regardless of the industry, business owners still have yet to fully unlock what technology is able to do for them. And I'm not even talking about AI. AI is a whole 10x on what I just said. But, there's so many administrative, operational, logistical challenges that business owners face that could likely, very, very likely, almost high certainty, could be alleviated using the right type of technology. And so coming into situations, talking with, executives and business owners about their problems and then strategizing with them, how can we solve these? And then solving those problems is like the most, vocational high that I can get on, you know? It's cool. So that's like the thing for me, I think, is when it comes to business, God has gifted me with a technological mindset, critical thinking mindset, a problem, like solving problems mindset, and a skill set to do it too. And it's been really cool to not only do that in the bunch of businesses that me and Reggie work in together with, but also to do it with a couple businesses on through my business as well, which has been a blessing.
Yeah. So you love it when somebody gives you a big problem, like a big problem that potentially has a technology solution. And it has high
impact on the business.
It has high impact on the business.
Big problem. If we solve this makes everyone on the team's life better. Oh yeah, eat that up.
Yeah. Do you ever dally on the marketing side? Marketing automation and problem solving there.
Yeah, for sure. So all of our businesses are small startups, right? So everyone's wearing different hats. So I'm always kind of flexing between ops and marketing and that kind of thing. I wouldn't consider myself a marketer. Like I can do marketing. But from a systems automations point of view, it's from a marketing systems automation point of view, it's pretty much the same problem. It's what is the system? What is the process that we're trying to streamline? And then how can we use tools to do that? So the root of it doesn't really change. It just changes on who's seeing it, whether it's internal team members or, potential customers.
Give me an example of a win. You don't need to name names, but give me an example of a situation where you got to do this for somebody and walk me through it.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. I was working with a pest control company that was actually local to me. It was really cool. And they had their flow was, someone reaches out to their pest control company and then they get an inspector to come out to your house and they inspect all the areas where the mice are getting in or whatever. And then they, quote you on the job. Well, that process was taking them about 2 to 3 hours per house for an inspector to do with their current systems and with their current processes. And I worked with them for a couple months and we got that down to like, if you count the time of the inspector actually walking around the house and taking the photos and writing some notes, 30 minutes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing. It's like most businesses, they don't even know what's possible. And it's like, well, let me show you what's possible today. So that was a really cool win to watch them be able to expand their amount of potential customers they could reach by, sixfold.
What was the aha moment for you in that discovery process?
In terms of like solving that particular challenge?
Yeah, like at some point you realize, I could get this down from 3 hours to 30 minutes, right? Like at some point you realize, was there a moment when you saw the giant you were fighting? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, so I pretty much saw it immediately.
You did?
And because kind of my process is like, hey, show me exactly what you're doing. Like click for click, tap for tap, upload for upload, just walk me through that process. And I pretty much was writing a book of notes on all the things that they could optimize, But, that's an extreme case. Most people are pretty adept with technology at least. But with a team of, let's say, 5-10 people, if you get an efficiency gain of, let's say, 10, 15, 20% on a process that you do every single week, like that adds some bottom line,
That adds up.
Yeah.
Now I'm just having fun with you, bro. I get to,
I love it.
I went through all the main stuff and now I get to just have fun and ask whatever I want. So what's your favorite technology or the most promising or fun technology that you're engaging with right now?
Like everyone's answer here is going to be AI. But particularly I like really, really focused solutions. So when it comes to, I'll use an example. So some teams might approach something like a Notion to do all their things, their notes, their project management, their documentation, their AI, like they'll combine everything into one. I find that like when platforms do that, they actually kind of do a bunch of things not great, but okay.
Yes.
But when you find a platform that is dialed in on doing project management, sometimes it's the best in the world at project management. And so I love those types of tools. And what's been really, really interesting to me from a technological point of view is like, I don't want to get too technical, but like being able to create your own AI models for companies using their data and building internal tools around that. So For instance, we did this for Better Way Health, the e-commerce business that Reggie and I work in, and well, Reggie owns it and I work in it. We needed a way. We have almost 10,000 reviews on all of our products, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we needed a way for the marketing team and for the the ads team, the media buying team that's going and promoting, to be able to like pull reviews, and it's kind of difficult in the system that we have. And so we built an internal tool that literally takes all the reviews, adds them into this data lake, if I want to use like an old term, right?
Yeah.
And vectorizes them, lets you query, hey, give me reviews about this product and this particular need state. And it just pulls them, cites them, sources them, and then the marketing team's able to go and have a bunch of fun. So,
dude, so sick.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff is awesome.
Yeah. I love it, man. I love it. And this actually puts a lot of, let's say, flesh on the bones, right, of everything that we've talked about so far. And now it's narrowed down to the actual area. And that's probably, with the way technology is going, I probably don't picture you diverging much from that, as you go along the course of your career, in terms of focusing on, who knows what the Lord will do, but it seems like technology is probably going to be a big part of your future. And I think
I just love it.
Yeah.
I just love it.
It's so fun right now. It doesn't sound like it doesn't scare you, huh? It doesn't scare you?
No, not at all. I mean, it did at first. I think when ChatGPT first got released, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And your brain kind of goes a couple ways. A bunch of people come up with like these documentaries on how AI is going to destroy the world in 2027 or whatever, and you're like, okay, I'm not there yet. Let's use these tools that God has given by His grace to do amazing things, both for internal teams that are doing great work that serve people, but also for individuals that need help in even the most menial ways. Yeah,
it's cool, man. It's a hope, and that does remind me of Chad Wooters also, who just has such a hopeful and positive view on the technology.
Yes,
but I think not devoid of understanding what the drawbacks and the pitfalls are.
For sure.
Which is the case with any technology, right? There's going to be gains, and there's going to be some areas where, it might actually reinforce some behaviors we don't want to reinforce, right? It might make us more lazy.
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes.
I think it's probably possible.
Probably possible.
Yeah. So there's certainly that to deal with. But anyway, Adrian, good times, bro. Thank you.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So good to hang out with you, man, and so encouraging. And then anybody who was with us up to this point, that's another episode wrapped up for you. Thanks for spending time with myself and Adrian, and we will see you next time. Take it easy.